No more than a week into the new year, local economic experts are taking a look back at 2024 and making predictions about how local industry and the job market might look this year. Aaron Stuvey reports.
2024 was a tumultuous year for Mankato. From construction projects to businesses closing to new industrial centers opening. The year that was had its ups and downs, and local economic experts say that the job market reflects those events.
Our employment situation really grew, hitting some all-time employment highs. At the same time, we started to see hiring slow down a little bit. We hit those employment numbers we were looking for and then had that draw down.
Looking ahead, local experts believe that 2025 will show much of the same, with job market gradually slowing down following a hectic few years. That's not to say everything is on a downward trajectory. Some experts believe that the completion of transportation projects like the one on Highway 14 will cause a boom in the local manufacturing and distribution sectors, a trend that was already taking hold throughout last year.
Now that we have these 4-lane highways coming through town, I think we're going to be seeing more and more companies wanting to establish these smaller distribution centers like Gordini.
In Mankato, I'm Aaron Stuvey.